The,
Are you done with it? No, that's what I.
yeah, the gal that,
I think we're online.
CEO.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Do you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I appreciate it.
Stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And would anybody like to do an invocation? At this time. Roll call, Brenda Epp.
I'm here.
Jerry Harris?
Here.
Thank you. Hank Mass?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Robert DeVries here. Bill Starnes?
Here.
Thank you. Steve Rhodes, Fire Chief, is present. First duty of business of duty, would be to approve August 10th, 2016's minutes. Oh, really? August 10th, yeah, 2016.
What do you want?
Agenda. I move to approve the minutes from August 10th,
I'll
2016.
second.
Okay, well, we got an approval and a second.
Second.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
And
Right.
Jerry moved
Thank
and
you.
Hank second, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to William Starnes.
We wrote, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 checks, for a total of $5,175.75. We deposited, I'll go on to the next month because we deposited this month. So we won't worry about that. We're down to $6,800 in the checking, $217,979 and change in the money market. And I'd like to know if the board feels that we should put another $4,000 or $5,000 in our checking account to get it up to 10 grand, or you want to just let it ride?
I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Okay, you want to just run it up to 10?
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt anything. And what did we agree upon that we keep our balance at?
We were talking about 15 grand.
Then why don't we bring it up to 15 so we stay within what we agreed?
All right, I'll go in tomorrow and deposit 9,000 and bring it up to, 15.8 or so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you got it covered.
Looking ahead to bills this month, we did our pump testing yesterday, so that'll come in, that's about $600. I'm still buying VFA grant stuff, I have to have that purchased by December, so it's not gonna be $10,000 next month, but there will be some purchase. Hey Jerry, you had some questions, if anybody wants a little more detail on Cascade Fire Equipment was a variety of VFA grant stuff, so half of that will be refunded to us. Shirts, helmets, gloves, that kind of stuff.
I was more curious about the charges to the Visa card.
Okay.
Is there an itemize on that?
On the Visa card itself, I itemize it when I give it to Wheeler,
Uh-huh.
and then she just gives you the total, but
I think she should give us a,
what I do is I go down, when I get the transaction descriptions, I go down by code on what they are, and I attach all the receipts to it when I send it to her.
And
So-
you also indicate out which budget,
Right.
or which budget it should be assigned to.
Right, so, some of it happened this month, the Galls, I bought 3 sweatshirts that we budgeted, I had those 2 new kids came up. Bought some batteries and, for 2 of our radios on the 1080. Prince Charming, got 3 more hats. Flurry Supply, we paid for the hose that was repair on 1031 that broke, that blew out. The other big one was, let me see here. I don't have all, she doesn't have all the receipts attached.
Well, these receipts are right here.
Are they?
Yeah.
WPSG, I can't remember. Well, that was, those are VFA grant flashlights, I believe.
do you think it would be a good idea to have the bank statement onto our report here?
I did.
Just so, in case there are questions, I mean, we can open it up and look and say, hey, everything's good.
So this is what I get on the bill, and I just put so that doesn't really tell you piece for piece. What I do is I attach a copy of all the receipts to the back of it when I give it to her.
Yeah, but that, at least if somebody had a question, they could say, well, it went to Flurry's or.
Well, that's no problem. 'Cause I first
So
put
do you
that
want to look at them?
No, We're just saying if somebody like Jerry asks a question of the, isn't that what you asked?
Or if anybody from the audience.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just,
It's not about the
for
receipts.
curiosity, I want to make
Yeah,
sure
so
that
everybody knew.
what's being charged to the card is appropriate. I know it's going to be, but I think we need to be open about it.
Yeah, so we can just include that, I can just print it off anytime you guys want. I tell you what, I'll print it
Is
off.
something like that, does it go in?
I get it the 20th of the month, so I can print it off then and just email it to you guys or something.
Okay.
And then, this all will go into the August month's file in there, so it'll always be there.
All right.
All right, I will entertain a motion to pay the bills. I don't believe we've done that.
I'll
Pay
move
the
to those.
bills, or Brenda? you're
I'll make a
moving.
motion to pay the bills.
Okay.
Or did you? I didn't hear you.
How about a second?
I'll
second. Okay,
Everybody wants to
Thank you.
Who's second?
Jerry.
Bill.
All right, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Jerry.
Can we flip for it?
Yeah.
Mr. Harris, it's yours, sir.
My turn?
Yes,
sir.
Okay. I did send out my report ahead of time, so you should all have a copy of it if you didn't bring it with you. Just listen. Our usage, actually, website usage went up quite a bit this month. In fact, I think it might be the highest month of the year. From August 1 to September 1, the number of unique visitors increased from 233 to 311. The number of visitors increased from 331 to 450. So that would include if the same person is visiting the site multiple times. The number of pages accessed increased from 621 to 988. Our YouTube channel has a total still 12 subscribers. And interestingly, 2 visitors came from a link on a page from the Oregon Fire Recruitment Network. And I checked out that website, and Steve, I don't know if you're the one, but somebody had given them information about our fire department.
That went through the NVFC, National Volunteer Fire Council, the one that we have on our website, the
Okay.
exact goes back to Oregon.
Okay, so that was interesting that people came to visit our site after looking at that. In terms of updates, I posted approved documents, blotter calls, treasurer's reports, chief's reports, videos, and current fire danger level. And as of today, the fire danger level has increased to extreme. So that means no use of the power equipment, chainsaws, mowers, things like that, 24/7, no use. And as of tomorrow morning at 1 a.m., the industrial level is going up to 3.
3, yeah, I seen that.
And if you need more specific information about that, you can get it through the DFPA website. And we have a link to their website on our homepage. I modified the blotter page to show an optional side-by-side comparison for all years. I hope somebody's taken a look at it, and if so, please give me some feedback to let me know if it seems to be working okay for you. There are some different options on how to view it, so I would like some feedback. I added information to the safety page about home safety and revised the styling of the home page and the overall site. I added a weather widget to the news section of the home page, so you can see the current weather and you can see the forecasted high and low for the next day. And there's a link to go to a website to get more detailed information on the weather. Proposed change, none at this time. Request for suggestions. Again, if anybody has any ideas for improving the website, things you'd like to see in terms of links or other information, or if you're having any problems with it, please let me know. Communications with agencies, received updates from DFPA on the fire danger level and public fire restrictions. Communications with fire department, got the list of the July blotter calls and a report from the chief. I sent the chief information on a laptop computer that was on sale and would meet the needs of the fire department. And Steve, I think you'll probably be addressing that with your report. Okay. I received from the chief a report on an injured volunteer, and I'm sure he'll give us an update on that. I did recommend to the chief to have a review of how the injury occurred and possible ways to prevent similar accidents in the future. I did that because I believe that is our responsibility as a board to make sure that there is a review, not just for insurance purposes, but for the protection of the volunteers. And I would think that that's probably standard policy anyway, but I just wanted it on record in an email that the board is aware of the need for that. Okay, and I know you're going to be addressing that also, Steve. Communications with community, posted public notice for the September board meeting on the website and at the fire station. District operations manual, nothing to report at this time. Communications equipment, updated software on the district computer, and it's looking okay. And that's it for my report.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, at this time, we are open for public comments if you have any.
Yeah, a question, you said no chainsaw.
It
Does
just
that-
changed today.
Does that mean even if you're on a concrete slab, still no chainsaw?
It's no means no. As far as I know.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, no,
I thought I'd
that's
ask.
extreme is a no, period.
Boy, we just.
I think unless you're
I know
mowing,
there's
Who's
no,
using the chainsaw?
Now, is that
yesterday?
considered just outdoors though? Like if you're inside?
it's any DOT land, so any land within an eighth of a mile of a county road is theirs, or else with their property. So there's only very few areas in Lookingglass that aren't their lands. And I know that common sense tells you that you could bring in a bunch of logs. I know like you guys bought that truckload of Madrone and brought it in. You could sit that on a cement slab and cut on it all day in this weather, but they don't have any allowances for common sense or anything. It's just yes or no, basically.
yeah.
And this year, they're not messing around. I've already warned people before, they're sighting and sighting. The weather changed the last couple of days and went back to extreme, like you said, just last night. When I did this the other day, it was still on high. And,
So no, it's just, it's as simple as no.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, some of our calls this month have been people hearing chainsaws in the distance, and they want us to go out and find out where they're burning, where there's cutting.
But industrial is 1 o'clock, so level 3 is 1 o'clock. You can still cut until 1 o'clock
Yeah.
in the woods.
With your business,
You have a 2-hour fire watch
Yeah.
afterwards.
but that's not personal, that's just.
No, that's industrial. Any logger, anybody doing anything industrial wise can do that. I have to be out of the woods by 1 o'clock.
I never even thought about, see, we had a ramp made, Jerry had a ramp made for the front porch, and they were sawing yesterday. I never even thought about going out and checking.
Yeah.
Probably should have.
Yeah,
I
it just
I
changed.
know when I worked out.
Tonight,
Yeah, but tonight, but even so, I probably should have checked.
When I worked out in the
Because-
woods, it was, shut down at 1 o'clock, but you had to have a water wagon with you.
they all have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even me out cutting brush, I had to have a water wagon and a 2-hour
Fire watch.
water fire watch.
And they might go back to 4.
I want to find out what they're gonna do next door to us. They're cutting timber out of there between,
It's industrial, I would think, if they're doing it as a business.
it's private property and
It
then,
doesn't matter, they still have to fire.
they have to shut it down.
They have to follow the guidelines.
Shut it down by 1.
Yeah.
Well, now they'd be down, period, isn't it? If it goes to extreme.
No, see, that's the difference between industrial.
Extreme for the homeowner
Homeowner.
is you're done. Extreme for someone that makes money off of it would be 1 o'clock.
Level 4 is a closure of the woods, you can't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
industrial.
did that earlier this year for about a week and a half, and they don't like doing that because you're taking, you're stopping business, but, and they make them clear the landings, and they have fire trucks on scene and everything else, but when they shut them down, that's a big deal.
Yeah, like right now, level 3, if some people have to have waivers, so they have fire hose run down the skid trails up in the woods. They have to do it every time they move around. It's more of a pain in the neck than it is. But anyways, yeah.
All right, may I answer your question?
Yep.
Okay, cool, thank you. Steve?
Going on the Chiefs minutes, August 2016, we got a lot busier, back to normal again. We had 19 total, 6 medical, 1 structure, 7 natural cover responses, 2 traffic accidents, 2 lift assists or public assist, and 1 illegal burn. Fire danger is rated extreme, as everybody's just said, so now it's been changed. Industrial use restrictions had been lowered, but now they're going back up again. One of the results of that was a fire in Elkton or Kellogg yesterday. It took off late yesterday afternoon. They have somebody setting some fires down there. Here in the valley, we're still pretty quiet as natural cover fires. We've had a pretty darn good season for us. It's not over yet, but most of our responses are small, illegal type stuff, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Our structure fire was a mutual aid 10 mile, and we did one of our natural cover responses was to Douglas 2. For training, before I started, I don't know if you guys saw the paper today, but was this today? Yeah, they had that 9/11 tribute on the Avenue of Flags at the VA this weekend, and so some of our explorers participated in it, and they made the paper and they got us some really good publicity. We're not looking for publicity, but they got us some. Some of our explorers and the 2 of the guys that have just graduated from explorers to firefighter were also there at present also. So, and that's the picture that they had. So we're doing the firefighter 1 class again. What we're trying to do is take care of the state requirements for interior structure fighting, because October 1st we're supposed to get the trailer from UCC, the fire training trailer, and they have to have those classes to go inside. So we're being very specific on the training we're doing right now. We've been working on driving operation of vehicles and a lot of wet post drills. Now that some of the kids have graduated from the class, we're just going out and doing actual just going out and having fun. Quick attacks and we call it blitz attack, which is just like if a fully involved garage was there, we hit it fast with a monitor, then pull the hose line and mop it up, that kind of stuff. We had 1 former firefighter return. He'd been here about 20 years ago. He came back to join. Still looks like we got 2 that are going to be relocating, moving out of the area, probably at the end of this month. 1 firefighter was injured in an accident. I don't want to really go into too much detail on who it was. You guys already know because I talked to you, but we had an illegal burn south of here. It was somebody we knew was out there. He's a convict, and the sheriff's department knows him well. And he was burning, he's living in a trailer out there in the middle of the field. Ran out of propane, so he's burning an old stump, heating a pot of water so he can cook and wash and stuff. So we got a call because somebody across town saw it burning, and he wasn't supposed to be burning. So they went out there, and they have kind of a 2-track going across the field up to where the trailer was, and so the units went down there, and they asked for the sheriff right off the bat. I wasn't there that night, I was downtown committed to something, so they made a good call. They called the sheriff as soon as they heard the address because we dealt with the guy before. And so they're out putting the fire out. The sheriff pulls up, so one of our firefighters walks back to see him, and instead of following the 2-track little road back to the trailer, they cut across country. Well, they're developing that property, so there's a ditch with a water line in it that hasn't been covered yet. And they had done a perk test trench. And it was about 5 feet deep, and it was just out there in the field. For some reason, I don't know when they did it, but there's no spoil pile. So they spread it out or something. I don't know why they did that for, but so Bob, I said that okay. Firefighter and the sheriff head back to the scene, and the sheriff's got a flashlight with him, and they're walking back, looking out, and my firefighter gone, fell into the ditch, just disappeared. And the sheriff missed it by a foot or 2 because he was walking right next to him. And so he injured his knee, shoulder, and hit some ribs on the edge as he went down.
How is he now?
Well, he's just yesterday he went to the doctor because they did MRIs late last week, and I haven't heard exactly what happened. I talked with workman's comp this morning, and I want to tell you a little bit about that too. But he's doing better. His ribs and stuff are not better, I can tell you that. There's some nasty bruises, and he's hobbling around now. And we'll find out more. So the workers' comp we have, it's really an interesting process because we're volunteers, we don't get paid. But he can't go to his regular job. He works at Umpqua Sand Gravel part-time. And so they're paying his 60% of his salary over there. Plus, they figure out that we're, which is 60% of whatever, as a volunteer, you know. So he's actually getting paid as a volunteer, even though we don't pay as a volunteer. So the workman's comp, SDAO contracts out their workman's comp to somebody else. So I get a call from them, they go, yeah, we want him to do light duty. And I said, well, first of all, you need to talk to Umpqua Sand and Gravel, because you guys are, that's his job. You guys need to talk to them and see if they got light duty for him. And she goes, well, how about around the station? What could you have him do? And I said, well, I don't know, we could do reports or something, or records, or all that. And so I said, all that stuff's upstairs, so I'll have to bring the boxes down to him. And she goes, well, you know, I have $5,000 to spend to make the workplace usable for him. So maybe you guys would like one of those seats that goes up and down the stairs. And I'm going, oh, come on. It's getting kind of crazy. But anyway, I said, how about if we just bring the boxes down to him, and he could do that. So we're going to try to figure out, he's coming to training and sitting and doing the classroom parts and all that stuff. And we're trying to figure out how many hours he's getting paid for, and we can have him do some stuff around here. It's not mandatory that he does, but it's just a really interesting deal. However, they're covering the medical, I will say this, SGAO is covering the medical with no questions asked, and I've been really happy. They've been real good talking with us and stuff on it. Anyway, it's just an interesting thing. And it's like this never happened before, and I know it has, but none of the people that we're dealing with have ever dealt with it before. So I haven't before. I've dealt with paid guys getting injured, but I've never dealt with volunteers getting injured. As Jerry brought up, is we use that as a safety topic about not only falling in holes, but anytime we're in an area that we're not familiar with, especially at nighttime, there's all kinds of things. And that could have just as easily been a well, a cistern, or something else. Somebody could have got killed out there. So we have headlamps on the brush truck, and every firefighter has a flashlight on his turnout. So they were using brush gear that night. And they didn't use a flashlight because he was with a guy with a flashlight. And I don't know, that's my first question I asked. But we talked a little bit about not only holes, but snakes, anything in the world that could happen that you're in an area unfamiliar with where you're usually at. And that was our safety topic for the night. And I hope that doesn't happen again. And it still remains to be seen how long it's going to be off. Let's see. One thing I didn't have on this Chiefs minute, I printed this for you guys, sorry.
Well, that's okay.
Is emergency medical. I got I didn't put something on this, was emergency medical responder issues. We had to it's a biannual recertification. It's $25 a person. We have 9 of them right now. And this year they went to a new computer system. Everything's done online, and it was just a mess. The very first time I went into it, I started doing it, and it was just totally user unfriendly. And as soon as we put in our address for Roseburg, it didn't recognize our zip code and kicked us back out. And so I called, and we got 5 of us through it, and 4 of the people could never get through it. I had one of my firefighters, I sat there with him and helped him go through it. The thing said he was done. July 1st comes and he gets a late notice saying he didn't do anything. So, and that means instead of paying $25 for recert, they make you reapply and do everything over again. It costs you $60. You have to send back all your cards, your training, your driver's license, fingerprints, everything else. So I called up there, and I was pretty irritated, and so was one of my guys that was dealing with him. And we got the guy. I got no satisfaction. And I said, is this like Oracle? Is this like you guys did with Oregon Health or something? And he goes, no, we did this in-house. And the guy I was talking to is the one that created the program, so he got kind of irritated at me. And so long story, we went to their supervisor, we've gone to all different people, and we got to the point where we were banging our heads, and I was going to go to Jeff Cruz or Dallas Hurt or somebody and say, hey, you guys need to go from the top down on this. So the last day, we said, you know what, give us all our money back, we all quit. We don't need that, we don't have to have your certification. We're first aid, we're CPR and everything else, we'll just do it. And then they go, whoa, well, wait a second now, you know, you're gonna take your money back? I said, I don't want just his, I want all 9 of our people's money back, let's go. So then she goes, well, what can we do to help you now, you know? And so then it got taken care of, and it was just it's been like a 2 or 3 week process, you know, and you come in here and spend 2 or 3 hours on a computer in the middle of the afternoon on something that should take 10 minutes to do, you know? And, but I think we're done with that. It's just a fiasco.
Well, Steve, what about for the future? Is that an option to consider not continuing with that?
Well, it's important, we put in like 6 months of extra nights and weekends to get this certification, and it's kind of a basic certification that leads you to other stuff.
Oh.
Now, as far as me, in my future, I'm not gonna be using it, you know, to go on to something else, but some of my younger kids will probably use it, you know, as a base step, either go to EMT or paramedic or something, so. But, I mean, it was a good threat, and the older guys, the older guys are getting kind of cranky, so it was.
It worked.
But, it was just, most of the time we have a pretty good relationship with it. The DPSST with the training records doesn't mingle or trade records with the state health organization. So that was one thing that really made me mad, is that we finally said, okay, we're done, and then they send back a thing saying, no, now you gotta get every instructor that did every training class to write a synopsis of what they covered in that class on that night for every single class for every person. And it was like totally unreasonable, and I had entered all that stuff into the Department of Public Safety Standards and Training there, and we have it all on computer, what we did. And I said, don't you guys have that, a link to them or something? No, we don't. We can't do that, that's illegal. And I said, well, what law is that it's illegal for you to share training records? It's not like HIPAA or something, you know? And then he couldn't provide me with that law. I don't know, I was trying to cooperate, but I wasn't very happy. But it got over with. Anyway, equipment, new 1080, I just went on the email because I hadn't heard back. I talked to him Friday, and he didn't have any pictures or anything. It's under construction, and Jonathan Brunton, who's our rep, the guy that's kind of representative between us and General Fire, is going back there August 1st to the factory for another department. So he's going to take pictures of where they are and what. And we're figuring it was going to be October sometime, so we'll see where they are. But we'll have something in our hands anyway, pictures. We had a few issues on vehicles this month. We did our pump testing yesterday, and our engines passed. In fact, they did better than last year, which is, I don't know how they got better, but some of the things we would have had to address in the future, one of the pump drains and then a couple leaky valves aren't leaking anymore, so that's good. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that if they don't get used, they have problems with that. We've been using those things a lot lately, especially with the training with the Explorers. We're pumping a lot of water. So. We had a repair on 1030 with a light bar. We had some lights on 1031 we repaired. We've been doing all that in-house so far. It's all just little easy stuff. Haven't had to call Hank or anybody.
That's good.
We've made Thursday our monthly equipment vehicle check night, so we're taking them all out and checking all the fluids and everything. We're supposed to, on paid departments, they're supposed to do it daily, and on volunteer departments, you're supposed to do it monthly per OSHA. So the third Thursday of every month is going to be that. There's something else I was going to say about that. I'll think about it. We inventoried 1030, 1070, 1080, and 1061 and updated those in the book, and we'll finish up the other two. A lot of the equipment we've been buying for the VFA grants and stuff, we put them on the units, so we made sure that they're all inventoried. We got in the wildland shirts, a hose roller, flashlights, gloves. I purchased the computer. I talked with Jerry about it and stuff. I didn't end up buying the one he bought. I keep on always looking for better and better and better deals, and my wife the other day finally kicked me and said, God dang, just buy some. So we got a good deal on one that actually had more RAM and a faster processor and everything, so it's going to last for a while. That results in an older laptop here that's going to be surplus, so I was talking with Jerry about how we can clean it up and I don't know if there's any much money value in it, but we can maybe donate or somewhere else, keep it here as a resource for some of our firefighters for training or something. But we'll figure that out as we go through. The issue was we were having trouble with it playing videos and PowerPoints and stuff in our training, so that's why we upgraded to a new one. Let's see, some of the expenses you guys saw on the bills this month were medical supplies. We got our EpiPens. I don't know if you guys have been following that in the newspaper, but it used to be you get it for $90 or whatever. They went up to $600, and now they're going back down. They're down to $475. So that's what we got them at for a pair. And the bad thing about them is they're only good for a year, and we may or may not use them. I think I've used one set of them in 6 years or something, but we're just kind of stuck. And that's one of that and some asthma drugs and stuff are two things that we can really make a difference in if somebody's like an anaphylactic shock or has some kind of reaction. So it's a real risk not to have it. Hopefully it'll come down further. A lot of the departments are you can buy a vial of epinephrine for $40, and then they draw it with their own needles. But we can't do that skill as EMRs or EMTs. Our paramedics can. So Lindsay Chitwood just passed in her paramedic certification right now. So that'll be a plus for us to do that kind of stuff also. If she's on the call, of course.
I was gonna say, but, yeah.
She's out here a lot because her parents watch her daughter and stuff, so
Oh, yeah.
she's around. Let's see, she purchased supplies for additional PPE lockers for the Explorers, and we're working on those. We had a light switch go down on the bank of lights in the apparatus room, we fixed that. We're working on PPE dryers, just gonna be a bunch of parts. I got a call into Umpqua Valley pavement again to try to get this driveway thing done. That's kind of been sitting on the back burner. And we have 2 bids already, and they're right about $17,000. I think that he can do it better.
Is that resealing the hole?
Well, we're gonna
Fixing the water.
We're gonna
Oh,
fix
yeah.
the drainage problem across the front of the station. Some I did put on facility is this month for safety. We did, all the extinguishers got done the other day, the annual, plus the eye wash station stuff got changed, and we're back on that. For accounting and office, I printed up for you guys a few copies of this. This is just a kind of a pencil draft of the audit. That's the last thing we have to do for last year's budget. I just wanted to go over it. You can look at it and see what it's going to say. We do it online, so I met with Robert Wheeler, and we went over all the final totals for last year. One result of that was all the stuff ended up, we got the stuff to the county clerk that had to be there by September 30th. It's already there. I took it down last week. So anyway, the first page of this, it's a self-audit. It'll cost us $40. And we've done this the last 2 years. We talked about this a little bit during the budget, but Robert Nobriga is our registered agent, and we did that last year, I believe, so you still are. So anyway, when I type this all in, it's gonna have your name on it. Okay. So, and then everybody's listed. We have our policy for audit, whatever you want to say, ethics. That has to be more than the money we take in, so that $100,000 is. The cash on hand was the cash that we had in the bank as of June 30th. The other assets is a combination of our buildings and our vehicles and equipment. And we upgraded that from last year. It was in the $900,000 range. Based on the appraisal, SDAO came down and did an appraisal last month of the property, and then we added up all the equipment and that stuff. So it comes up to about $1,105,000 for all our vehicles and our station. There's no accounts payable, long-term debt. When you go on the next page, we go through each fund, the general fund, equipment fund, and grant fund. So it's what was budgeted, and then you show what actually we got, and then you go across the bottom and total all that up. And it's pretty self-explanatory. And then you leave anything that we didn't do gets left blank. So there's not it kind of tells you a little bit about a review of last year's budget. We had 55,000 some dollars budgeted for material and services, and we spent 37,000, 38,000. We had 34,200 budgeted for capital outlay, and part of that was the pavement outside, and we didn't do that. So the 14,000 was the other stuff we did do, the electrical reels, other repairs and stuff we had around here. We had budgeted 136,000 for vehicles, and we spent capital equipment through the equipment fund, and we spent 62,000 on the new unit, half of that, plus the rest of it is equipment that was spent for the year. So as long as we stay under 150,000, we can do this self-audit. We were at 135,908 last year, what we actually spent. So anyway, that's the piece of paper, and the numbers are all backed up by the QuickBooks from Wheeler County. So as long as you don't mind me typing this in, I'll type it in and send it this week. And it's, all you do is go online and type it in, and then they'll take a credit card over the online.
If you need me to sign it, just get hold of me.
Yeah, they don't require a signature, it's done electronically, so just your name.
Robert, should we perhaps have a motion giving Steve the authority to go ahead and do that?
Sure, I'll entertain a motion to have Steve complete the report to the Secretary of the State for the self-audit.
To complete and file it?
Complete and file.
Yeah, I so move.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes, thank you.
We talked, and I talked with Robert too about this, and we talked earlier this year about it, but audit's probably gonna cost us $2,000 to $3,000. And at some point, the way we bought this brush truck by paying half and half, that kept us under the limit. If we would've bought that thing all outright and would've came here in July, we would've had to pay, we would've had to audit this year. So, you know, I'm still all for auditing maybe once every 5 years or something. I think we should, but
I think it's a good
Robert
idea.
about it too, so we'll have to talk about this just next year when we budget or whatever. I feel a lot better about things now with, like the way it's set up with them doing the checks and them keeping the books for us and stuff, so.
Well, they might make an audit cheaper because it's presented to an auditor in
Right.
a format they want to see.
And they said that this year, that, yeah, that as long as they have their stuff going on, that it'll be easier for the auditor to do this job too.
Then the auditor's only gonna look at 1 year, he's not looking at 5 years.
Yeah. I made a budget package, Susan Shepherd did this for us a few years back, so we have one for last year and this year. And everything we had this year with the budget, from the resolution to the budget, to the meeting agendas, the budget message, the calendar, the minutes of the meetings, and the budget itself, the LB1s, the LB50s. The only thing I gotta add in here is the justification sheets. And then I also put the letters in here from the Department of Revenue, so in case anybody has a question on why we did what we did on the budget.
Do you also have the resolution to approve the budget?
Yeah,
Copy?
it's right at the front.
Oh.
So anyway, we'll have this, a hard copy on file here, and then it's in the file in the second drawer down, I think in the back, with all the ones from the past. And then we have all that stuff on disc too. I'll put it on a what should I call it?
Coffee.
I'll put it on a, not a disc, but
Thumb
we'll have a hard thumb drive and have a copy of it. And we'll brain shot. So the budget will be done finally. We had an issue last month with credit card. I wasn't here last month, I'm sorry, but we will be credited $49 as issued between them and the Umpqua Bank. Trista worked on that and let me know the other day that that's taken care of. I completed the ethics online class and submitted that to SDAO, so now we're at our 8% discount for the year and for best practices. So all what happened is the last part of it was this Oregon ethics law best practices checklist, and the board has to fill this out. And it came the other day, and it's due by November 15th. And you could fill this out in like 5 minutes if somebody wants
Do you
to.
want me to do it?
And you can just discuss it, but it's just talking about what we have. One of the other things was they wanted our ethics policy, and I sent that to them, I think that was a month and a half ago. I think we talked about that the last meeting. So we'll have our 10% discount as soon as that's sent in. And all they're asking there, they don't ask you to do any research, they just have general questions about.
Did we do that last year?
Yeah, we
I
did,
thought so.
but this year their focus is on ethics, and last year I think it was on records or something. About school and gathering some supplies for that. And Home Depot is gonna do theirs again this year, we'll be participating at least one day. The FEMA grant application period opens October 11th, so we'll be applying for SCBA's, and we may not be able to apply for a second engine this year because it has to be 25 years old. And yesterday when we were pump testing that one, it's actually 24 years old right now, so I might have to wait a year on that. But the SCBA's are NFPA does the standards every 5 years, so ours are 2002. They're actually manufactured in 2007, but they're 2002 standard. And then since then, they've got 2007 standard and 2013 standards, so that means they're 2 generations back. So they're available now to replace. So if we can get them through them, they're between $40,500 and $6,000 a piece, and we have 12 of them. And then bottles are around $700 to $900 a piece. We have 24 of them. So if we can get, we're going to be shooting to get that on the grant, because it's going to be over $100,000. So a matching grant would be $10,000 or less that we would budget. I have to apply for it this year, but I budget for it next year. And by that time, we'll know how far in the process we are. That's about it. We're kind of planning ahead for a future engine, just kind of nosing around at what on the prices and stuff.
Does anybody have any questions? All right, thank you, Steve. Old business, this slush fund bill, we put it into the bank.
Yes, we did.
Thank you very much. And we were gonna see if 1080's chassis was donated. And we talked about that last meeting.
I know that Bill talked to someone who wants it, if we want to sell it.
Yeah,
When we bought it, it was bought through a government auction, and we paid about $3,000 for it or something. It wasn't donated when we got it, if that's what you mean.
sure.
We own it, it's ours.
The guy from Glide was interested in it.
Yeah. Plans for it, my original plan, if we would've got the FEMA grant, we would've had to surplus it, we could keep it, that's part of the conditions. Since we bought it ourselves, I'm hoping, I don't have any concrete plans right now. I'd like to keep it and try to find something in Flournoy Valley to house it or something like that, or sell the slide out on it and use it as a pickup truck for a vehicle. However, the slide out part of it is probably the most valuable piece of it.
If you park it out in Flournoy, like at my place or Hank's or anybody's.
Or some kind of agreement.
Yeah, would that help the fire insurance?
Well, it doesn't because it's too small.
Oh, okay.
But if you had a tank, if you had 10,000 gallons of water and you had that truck.
We talked about that, I remember with Roy Palmer, and I think he was in error about the tank, but I'll investigate that. But I would like to have it out there. I've got 3 or 4 guys out there now that could pick that up initially on to have a second unit on wildland fires, and they could bring it in every Thursday night and run it and bring it in for the jewel nights and stuff.
Well, I got that barn out there, we can park in the barn, that's for sure.
Yeah, all it needs is a little bit of 110, like a 15 amp circuit, and in the winter we'll have to drain water out of the plumbing here, so it won't freeze.
So if we were to do something like that, we would have to budget for the electrical and whatever is needed in terms of cost of maintaining it out there.
And making an agreement of some sort with
Right.
Bryson, I would say,
Might change insurance too.
yeah.
If it would change insurance, there's something that we could look into, because there's a right of way between, that goes through my property and Mr. on the fire board, why can I, Johnson, Tom Johnson. And there's on my property, there's a strip underneath the power lines that we could put a shop up and there's a very good Douglas Umpqua Basin feeds it, we could have a tank right there and a building.
You guys on it, you're on the end of that one, right?
Yeah, we're all, there's like 5 of us
Yeah,
right
it comes
there.
over there.
So there's a good water source right there that
And,
can happen.
and that might, as far as, I don't know if that's Pacific Power or if that's Douglas Electric, but, that, I mean, that would be a pretty, I think that's a pretty easy thing to pull off. Because
Yeah.
of them being a public agency.
The only thing that worries me about putting them like in a barn somewhere that the mice and rats
Yeah.
destroy those things.
Yeah.
You know, so it'd have to be in just like a one shop, like if you put up a cheap little deal, seal it up real good to
Yeah.
where it, you know, like you said, drive it every Thursday night in.
I think, I don't have any concrete plans for it. I mean, our original plan was to get rid of it.
But you mentioned at one time that it'd be nice to have, so like if you had to haul one of the rigs in, you'd have somebody, you could drive it instead of using your own company cars or
Yeah.
private cars.
The thing about it, that is that I put in it for a couple of years with a DFPA to get like a surplus, Forest Service pickup or something, because that's a 454 4-speed, first of all, so it burns gas like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's got about 80,000 miles on it now. It's in good shape, we've been maintaining it, but, like a little Ford Explorer pickup or something like that would be a much better utility vehicle than to have that. But, those are things, we need to discuss. I mean, if anybody wants to talk about it, we can plan something up. I've been caught up on so much of the little stuff lately, I haven't even thought about it.
But Steve, if we do go ahead with exploring something like this, we'd also need to explore in terms of liability insurance and other kinds of things to cover the equipment, the property.
The only way that I would do it is if it actually helped like all at the Flournoy Valley,
Right.
especially George's, all that area as in insurance wise.
Right. I don't know if it will, I can do some more research on that. And I think it probably has a value of about $8,000. The value is in the sliding unit. The sliding units are expensive. And Cascade, we buy a lot of stuff from Cascade because they're local in Medford. He's told me before, hey, look, if you guys are getting rid of that, let me know, because I got people who want it.
It won't be hard to get rid of. You can sell it to any logger, any of them. None.
I'll try to work up a good plan on that for you.
All right, moving on to new business. Secret Santa. We're only a few months away.
Good point.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to be in front of the curve instead of behind you.
We're gonna have a business meeting this Thursday night, so I can approach that. I have, Oriole just joined the Grange, so we have a little bit better communication with her now. I do, because I'm at the Grange also, so the principal of the school, and that's usually where we get the families and stuff, so. As far as a plan for raising funds and stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
How about when it cools down? I'm just trying to look ahead.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff upstairs, build an action plan to clean and organize upstairs, whether we sell it, donate it, file, or destroy, as long as we stay within the guidelines of the law.
Yeah.
So that's just something to think about in the future, because obviously I don't want people standing up there when it's 100 degrees outside. But yeah, that's just something to throw out there so we can get that organized and maybe clean some of that stuff up. And, if it's stuff that we can donate that someone can use and we can't, I mean, we talked about Mexico before and stuff like that. If it's just sitting there rotting away, then we might as well make an action on it, do something with it.
Those are all some of that stuff's all stuff that has just fallen by the wayside. Because I know the two SCBA's, we had crews giving those to the guy that's from Cascade, go down to Mexico,
Mhm.
and they were supposed to take them. I called him once and he didn't call me back.
Cascades in
Well,
Medford?
something else, yeah.
Well, if we do it again, let me know,
Yeah.
because if we're gonna do it, I go down there quite a bit to my grandkids and I have no problem dropping them off.
And
That way
there's a
we
lot of
just-
stuff up there.
Yeah, that way we just have, I mean, if we're not gonna use it and it's just sitting there, I mean, we might as well do something with it so somebody can benefit if we can do that.
I got, I had budgeted for some storage cabinets and stuff for all the fire prevention stuff we have from the state sitting up there in boxes. That needs to be put in cabinets, and that's just another thing we gotta get in the next month or two to do.
I'm good. I basically cover my stuff on it as I go through these. Is there anything anybody on the board like to discuss?
I just have a question for Steve. How's that new washing machine working out?
It works really well, as a matter of fact. And they've already been using it, and we're working on this dryer. I don't know if I showed you guys pictures of that before.
I think you did. It's an apparatus you're gonna make, correct?
Yeah, we're gonna make it out of PVC, and we made the plans and everything. We just have to make a journey to Co-op and Home Depot and do that.
What creates the heat? Or is it just
There is
airflow?
no heat, it's just
Airflow?
Yeah. When we,
It's like a boot dryer.
when I talked to the guy originally, the heat versus just plain air made a difference of about 20 minutes.
Oh.
And so when you buy a commercial one, it's a difference of like $4,000 and $7,000, like $3,000 difference for 20 minutes of drying time, so. So we weren't gonna do that anyway. We were just gonna go with air.
Answer your question, sir?
Thank you.
Any comments from the board? Public comments? All right. Our next meeting is 10/12/16. Unfortunately, I gave Jerry that day off. Thanks, Jerry.
Oh, I wanted to say one
Oh,
more
good.
thing before you break. Jim Hooten from Lookingglass store, him and his wife were coming back from town the other day and came upon fire right at the air lane, just this side of the rock quarry. And the homeowner had, the very first night that it was down in the 40s, he did a wood stove thing and then dumped his ashes out onto a compost pile. But anyway, they were coming down the hill and saw it, spotted it, went out there, grabbed the garden hose and put it out before the guy came. So I just want to recognize him. He gets the Hank Master Award for citizen involvement.
Nice. Hey, what about the one on Dorner? Did we respond to that?
No.
Yeah.
Douglas didn't ask us to go.
Well,
That's interesting.
I was just wondering, my wife actually called it in.
Whereabouts on Dorner?
Right on the corner, Dorner and Flournoy, right on the corner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right there in that big gravel spot.
We lived up there, power lines go across,
Yeah.
Calvert's. We lived there for 32 years.
Wow.
Normally we would go there, that's a really no man's land out there. A lot of the houses out there, we'll get dispatched to them in their Douglas 2s, or Douglas 2 gets dispatched to ours. It's a area, just the house gets reported is who goes.
It's on Dorner, where was it, Dorner?
Yeah, Dorner and Flournoy, right there, that big old, if you turn on Dorner, you gotta go this way and then this way.
Oh, yeah.
Right
yeah.
there, it was out
Dorner
faster than that,
Dorner
it's smaller,
cutout.
it's smaller than this,
Dorner cutout.
if that's what it is.
Yeah, Dorner comes off of Melrose.
Oh, okay.
Dorner cutout comes off of Flournoy.
Yeah, but it was out faster than heck. All right, so our next meeting is gonna be October 12th, 2016. If everybody's done and satisfied, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Ooh, that was fascinating.
Checks are signed.
Pardon me?
Checks are signed?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for coming, Jerry.
Yeah, somebody
Enjoy your
took the
day
checks
off.
last
Jerry, wait a minute. Our meeting's over.
We're over, you can shut it off.
What's bunko? What is that? I thought it was rolling ball, but I see dice.
No, we should. Dice game.